everyone, Dr. Colleen here. This video is going to be some upper body stretches. So we're going to start with our trap stretch. So you can be seated, cross-legged, legs out in front, butterfly, or on a chair, whatever feels good for you. But I'm going to be seated here on the floor on the mat today. So we're going to get our nice tall posture, always feeling like that string is pulling us up to the top of the room that we are in, or if we're outside, up to the sky. And our trapezius muscles are actually separated into 3 sections, and we're going to be focusing on the upper traps, which run along here and fan in the back of our backs. So we're going to start getting those shoulders relaxed and down, like I said, lifting up nice and tall. And then we're gonna just simply tilt the ear over to the shoulder. Now notice I didn't teapot over with it. I stayed nice and anchored because we want to lengthen that muscle. You can bring this hand down and grab onto the chair if you're sitting on a chair, or bring this arm behind if that's comfortable, and that will deepen the stretch. And one more way to deepen this stretch would be to take your opposite hand. Again, I'm just placing my hand very lightly on the top of my head. I am not yanking on my neck at all. I'm just giving it a little bit more weight to feel that stretch. And again, I love if you can hold stretches for about 6 to 8 breaths, really nice big belly breaths, or 1 minute. And then you just switch over to the other side. So again, beginner, just bringing that ear over to the shoulder and working on keeping your shoulders even, your sit bones evenly grounded into the mat. And then you could grab onto that chair or drop that arm down. You could tuck it behind, or you can bring that hand up and over. And again, nice 6 to 8 breaths or a minute hold. And these are static stretches. So again, you might feel one side is tighter than the other. Just take note of that. It'd be good if you had a journal as you go through all these to go which muscles were tighter on which side, front, back, left, right, and which ones were stronger, left, right, front, back, or weaker. And so it's good to keep all of that written down so that you don't have to go try to remember every time. Okay, so similar to that stretch, we're now going to work on the levator scapulae, which is inserts on the upper cervical vertebrae and then to our scapula on the back. So sometimes people have a trigger point right back in there, and that's usually from a lot of computer work or a deconditioned or overworked neck, where we're just out of balance up here. So that muscle is just holding on for dear life to keep you, keep your head up nice and straight. Okay, so it starts off very exactly like the trap stretch. So now we come over ear to shoulder. So I'm going to be stretching this side, just like this stretches this trap as we come away. And this is where you might lose it because you can't look at the camera anymore to see it, but I like to break it down to first turning to look at my armpit, and then this might sound a little odd, but you're gonna tuck your chin down as if you were gonna try to smell the armpit. So you're bringing the nose a little bit closer to that. And again, you can say no in this position and yes, and it might find a spot where you're like, whoa, yeah, there it is. That's where I'm feeling it. So don't just think you have to go boom, boom, boom. No, I got nothing. Just feel it around, but try not to go too far away from the setup so it's not a different muscle. And then I tuck my chin in, feeling my body get long, and then opening up that levator. And then I like to come out of it nice and slow and roll my shoulders, because that one on that side is tight for me. And then the other side, bringing that over just like the trap, Now we're turning to the armpit to give it a good look, and then tucking the chin down to bring our nose closer to the armpit. And again, I didn't say it for the other side, but you have the options of dropping this arm or tucking it under. And then the next level for the hand, instead of over this way, we come and kind of cut the back rounded part of our skull, and you're giving it a pull, kind of the elbow towards the thigh in that direction. And again, if it feels quivery or tight or it's not feeling right, just back off to the one that you did before. Drop the arm down and then come out of it and back up and nice shoulder roll. Okay, so the next one we're gonna do, my arms are gonna go out of view, but we're just gonna work. I like doing this one standing, but I'm gonna show it to you in the seated position. We're gonna just bring our arms up and we're just gonna reach over and then over to the other side. So now we're getting a little bit more of our lower traps and our lats that run down this side of the body. So really, this is the arm that I'm doing more of my lengthening through, but I'm also anchoring this hip down so I don't go woo from side to side. You want to stay really anchored, lengthening. You can hold the hands. You can make them more in a rounded position. It doesn't matter. Whatever feels good. If you even need to, you can bring them lower. But we do need this one extended, at least in that direction, upwards, to really get that lat and some of that trap. And then back to center, okay? So we did trapezius upper, we did the levator, another neck muscle, and then we just did lats and some lower trap opening up. This one is a little bit more advanced, so I'm gonna break it down as we go. We're gonna bring our hands, palms face up. We're gonna bring them across, so now our elbows are laying one on top of the other. You're gonna bring, so I kind of just brought that one a little bit forward, hands here. So this might be all that you can do. This might be all that you can do, so that's totally fine. Or we can come here, then we turn the palms away from each other, and then you start to bring the hands, the forearms together, okay? And if that's all you can do, that's great. If you can wrap the hands, so now I'm intertwined, then that is also great. I'm just gonna turn on an angle, okay? So this is eagle pose, really opens up our back, those rhomboids, that middle trap. And then the next level, if you aren't feeling enough right to here, would be to begin to bring the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Now this is going even deeper into my shoulder capsule. So again, just be aware of your body on whether this just feels like a really good stretch or it's hurting, because there might be an injury in there. And then we come out of that nice and slow. Come out back to that open position. We gotta do the other side. So now I cross the other one over. Come up, palms away, bring the arms together. And then now we're in this position. So this one was so much easier for me to get into because of an injury I have on my left shoulder versus the right. So I'm constantly working on keeping the shoulder moving. It's an injury, repeated injury since I dislocated it when I was 7 or 8 years old. But it's really important for me to keep that one in range of motion. So that way is a lot different than coming into this position. So you might have that too. So we're here, if you can, and then we're lifting up. So see how much more range of motion I can get on this side compared to my left, and it doesn't feel like, it feels like a nice stretch, but it's not an over stretch, whereas the one on the other side was, whew, I need to do that one a little bit more, I guess. Okay, so we've done the trap, levator, lat, lower trap, and that was eagle doing rhomboid, as well as middle trap. And now we're gonna come into the front body a little bit, but also the whole fascia along our back side of our upper body. So this is a forward bend, okay? So I am on my heels. If that's not comfortable, you can get a block, a pillow of some sort, and that will prop you up and give you a little bit more relief on the ankles, or maybe you just don't have that range of motion. That's totally fine. I open my knees out to the edges of my mat, and then we're gonna walk forward. And I can bring my head all the way down to the floor, but if you can't, try to keep your ears in line with your elbows, not letting it come up too much or come down too much. So this is just your basic forward fold bend, getting a nice stretch. And the thing we're gonna add to it is we're gonna come up onto our fingertips and then bring that head as much as you can, that chest, in between the thighs, in between the arms, and really push up into those fingertips and get a nice stretch. Again, always 6 to 8 breaths. And then I like to come back to my palms and then slowly roll it up. No fast movements needed. We just stretched everything out. We don't want to pull out of that position really fast, locking up all of our muscles that we just got nice and stretched out. So that was upper body stretches. Just a quick recap. There'll be some videos where I'm just going to do just neck, just back, things like that. But this is just kind of a little round synopsis. So if you got that handout, these are the stretches that will be on that handout with the foam roller massage at the end. Fortunately, I do not have the foam roller here today, so maybe we'll do a whole video on just different ways to use the foam roller. All right, I hope you enjoy this.